There we go. Good evening and welcome to About the Valley. And as I announced earlier, we have with us tonight a guest, Corinne Ross, who actually works here in Northbridge. She has an office down at the Chiropractic Center down on Providence Road. What's the number?
800 Providence Road.
800 Providence Road here in Winesville, on the Winesville-Linwood line down in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And what she is a licensed massage therapist.
Yes.
Okay.
I also am a licensed esthetician. I also am licensed in other things, pedicures, manicures. I'm also a licensed hypnotherapist. So I do quite a bit. I do a little bit of everything. So.
The second one, what is that?
Esthetician?
Yeah.
That's skincare.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Yeah, echo. Yes, yeah. That's Latin for skin, isn't it? I think
Is
something
it?
like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. So, and I've owned 2 day spas before, where I did a little bit of everything. One in Bellingham and one in Mendon.
Oh, so you're at those spas as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But you do give massage, and I got to tell you, I do go get a massage,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it on the advice of Dr. Amatir,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a good move because until you've done it, don't knock it.
Right.
You don't know how much better you feel after. And I'll be honest with you, when you're getting the massage therapy, this is not a rub down. This is not someone rubbing your shoulders like the vice president does.
Mm-hmm.
This is really working your muscles.
It is. Well, you can do a nice relaxing massage where you're just going to relax and drift off and be nice and peaceful.
Yep.
And then there's the therapy.
Right.
So I do both, but the therapy, when somebody comes in, whether they have a pinched nerve, whether they have a tight neck, their hips, legs, it could be anything on their body, I do a lot of therapy work.
And when it's done, you feel much more relaxed.
You feel more relaxed. So even though it's a little bit more pressure, the deep tissue is a little bit more pressure.
Yep.
It's still relaxing, and you still get that time where you feel like you've really done something for not only your body but your mind, your soul. You've
Yes.
really have taken care of yourself, because this is the only body we have, and
Yeah, from birth till death, that's the only one you're going to have.
It's it. And so this is our vehicle that gets us around. It's our miracle that carries us every day, everywhere we go. And you have to take care of it. And a lot of people don't ever think about their body. They think about, women might think about their hair or their nails, or men if their golf shoes or golf bags or new clubs, whatever it could be.
The car's running good.
Something for the car. But
Yeah.
if we don't feel good and our legs are hurting when we get in the car, or arms are hurting, we're trying to play golf.
I think sometimes we do better maintenance on our cars
Than we do on your
than
body.
we do on our own body, yeah.
So once a month, if you're just generally just if there's nothing wrong with you, once a month is generally when you would get a massage.
Yep.
It helps the circulation, bring more circulation into your body, more the blood flow, everything circulating. It's stretching out the muscles. You're breaking up any fibrous tissues that have, are bound up, which constrict your motion.
I felt that. I mean, I was really tensed up the first time you did it, and I could feel you actually breaking those crystals.
Yeah, you can actually feel the little popping. You can feel the knots, and it's not so bad.
No.
But you actually feel good after
you've
gotten
I
and
went
you
and
loosened
got
up.
an adjustment with Dr. Amater after, and he said, boy, you feel much better now. You're so much more relaxed. And yeah, you are, because you come out of there so relaxed.
Yeah. And it's amazing because I've had, some people are shy, and I've had people who've come in and they were in really bad pain, and this was like a last resort, but they don't like to be touched. And And so they're really shy. And I've had people come in, I let them keep their tank tops on or their shirt. And next thing you know, I mean, within a few massages, you realize how comfortable it is because no private parts are ever showing.
Right.
You're always covered. You do feel comfortable. And next thing you know, it's their favorite thing to do. So, and I mean, I've had people who were just really nervous about it. And there's really nothing to be nervous about because you're covered at all times, and you become so relaxed. And as you start to work on your body, you realize, oh my God, that feels so good. It feels so good.
Well, you never try it. You know, people walk around in pain all the time and don't try and do anything about it. Like, I'll go out and get the salves or whatever and rub
creams,
it down, take
right.
pop the medications.
Yeah, some sort of medication, right. And
medication's defined as a temporary cure, but you shouldn't make it a cure. It's
No.
not a cure. You have to cure the problem.
right. And that's a lot what I do, is somebody will come in to me and, you know, they'll say to me, well, for one instance, this one woman came in to me and her inner leg hurt. And she is a dental hygienist. And there was a few other things, her neck and shoulder. So
probably the way she worked all day.
Well,
right?
we worked on, you know, neck, shoulder, and arms because of the way she has to stretch over
Right.
people. And then, you know, she said, but I get this bad pain coming up my leg here. And I said, well, did you, you know, and I go through have to go through all these questions. No. Well, is it work related? No. So I finally have to ask I ask a lot of questions to get to the point, because once I find out what made that hurt to begin with, it makes everything so much
Yes.
easier. I can help tell the stretch to help stretch it out, but now I also want to educate them to tell them what they're doing wrong or how their movement is creating their pain. So we finally figured out when she's on the dental hygienist chair, she ends up wrapping her feet around the chair, and then she leans over, and you're like that
Yep.
for a while. And so once she stopped that motion, it went away. So
She was wrapping her legs to feel more secure on the seat.
to wrap them around, right, as she leaned over.
Yep.
So, and there's a lot of people who say the same thing, is like, no, it can't be that, can't be the way I slept or anything. And then I say, well, show me how you sleep. And next thing you know, they're like, oh, this and that. Well, when something is stretched over for such a long period of time, those muscles are going to get fatigued. They're going to start aching. And they get tired, and just like you get tired.
Yep.
So they start to get sore and fatigued, and then the next day you're in pain. So
What's the best way to lay in bed? Is it
straight
back?
on your back.
Right on your back?
Straight on your back, because now you're not putting any pressure on anything.
Like you would do with
Your
an
neck-
infant.
You just lay on your back. It's
Yeah.
the best way. When you start to lay on
Is
your
it a good
shoulder,
idea to use a pillow?
you know,
I think that's
I
a
like a
habit we got
pillow.
into.
Yes. So now that question, I think, is kind of an individual thing.
Yep.
If you have a little propped up pillow, it helps people from stop snoring a little.
Right.
And I think you have to kind of go. A pillow is a very sensitive thing with people because, you know, once you get the right pillow, it's nice. If you're laying straight on your back, I mean, without a pillow, that's great too.
Well, we don't put a pillow for babies
No.
because they're growing so quick, and it would mess up their backbone, right?
Well, I don't know. You wouldn't. Well, there's a lot of things why you don't put things in babies' cribs, because they don't
Right.
want them to suffocate. They
Yeah.
want them to turn over on it, and
Right.
but I don't. There's
But
probably not
once we
really
get-
a
once
need
we
for
get
a
in-
pillow.
Once we get we get into the toddler age, now we got to get the pillow.
Get
And the
pillow.
first thing you know, we have a pillow the rest of our lives, including in the coffin.
Well, we'd like to lay our head on something. So if you do have a soft enough pillow, if it's too hard, you'll end up with some aches and pains. If it's too soft, you know. So
Right. Well, there's a man that made an industry out of selling
he
pillows.
did. So
They're not
we
cheap.
all have one.
They're
So-
not cheap.
So
I got one. It is a good pillow. I tell you, I do have one. It is a good pillow. But I lay on my back, and I find that the most comfortable way to sleep.
It's the most comfortable, and that's the way where you're not going to hurt yourself and you're not going to cause.
You know, if you're
any
laying
injury.
aside, you probably got your arm underneath.
You've got your arm underneath. You're
and
laying on your
now
hip.
you're crimping circulation.
Mm-hmm. You are. So somewhere along the line, you're going to end up with pain.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, as you get older, you end up having hip replacements, you have knee replacements.
Isn't that's one of the
shoulder
most common operations going today?
And I do have a lot of people who say, I might be working on them, and they'll be like, oh, but watch out, don't go near that because I just had a hip. And I'm like, no, we're going to work on it. Because you want to work on that. Once once your doctor cuts into the muscle, you form all these fibers that form because it's
Well, it's going
scar
back
tissue.
together,
Well,
right?
but it's scar tissue.
Yeah, that kind of probably forms a layer on it.
Well, and then it can form an adhesion. So they're kind of bumpy and they're fibrous.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good because you want your muscles to come back together and heal. But the thing is, you don't need them so congested up like
Right.
that. So with a massage, you break down those adhesions, and that way the muscle doesn't get contracted.
More
You get
flexible.
stretched out, more flexible, and you move better. So with any operation, whether it's your back, your hips, anywhere, you want to break up those adhesions. You want to get massage. You want to put the circulation in there and the blood flow and the oxygen in. And that's just healthy for your whole entire body. So in a massage, you go over a lot of the lymph nodes, the meridians, everything that brings health to everything in your body, your organs, everything.
So it helps your system that fights off infections.
It helps. Yes, it helps your immune system.
Your immune system, yeah. Because that's very important. Maybe if you can probably prevent a cold, not having to suffer with colds.
Well, you can prevent just general health because when you get a massage, it's been known that I was just reading an article just recently, and it said one of the things of being happy is contagious.
Yes.
And you want to be around people who are happy because and
well, you're depressed. That brings on illness.
right, and it brings on illness. So they were saying is one of the things to keep happy, or one of the things to add to your repertoire of everything you do is get a massage. And I was like, because you know what? When I get out of a massage, I feel like $1 million. I just and I feel like I've done something for myself, and I need it. And as you get older, your bones ache and your muscles ache, and when you're sore, what fun is that?
Exactly. Well, if you're in pain, you're not going to be happy.
Right.
Oh, by the way, 508-266-0990. Call now. Call early if you want to talk to Corinne. Ask her any questions, because the people wait till last minute. Then we're going to be going off the air, and you go, oh, I got to get my call in. So wait, the lines are open now. Give us a call if you have a question, please.
So
some people don't. Now, unfortunately, I think medical insurance companies make a big mistake not allowing you. Now under new rules, exams are free.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was that if you got a physical, they'd catch something early.
Right.
Well, I think they should allow for
massage,
for
should.
chiropractic adjustments. These all lead to better health, and it would save the insurance companies a tremendous amount of money in the end.
Well, there are a lot of insurance companies that will cover chiropractic.
Right.
But what you don't realize is, a lot of people don't realize, is muscle pulls bone.
Yes.
So you can go for an alignment and adjustment, but if your muscles
go
are
right
tight,
back.
it's going to go right back.
Yep.
So if here's your spine and you've got a muscle pulling on it, it's going this way, and then these muscles are pulling that way. And you could get aligned all day long, but as soon as you're done, those tight muscles are going to pull them right out of whack again.
Yes.
So
You work at the muscular system,
Mhm.
whereas the chiropractors work with the
bones, the
skeletal system.
Yes.
So And it's important. Your muscles can get out of line. I know people think, well, I got a pulled muscle, or I twisted, or
Yep, a pulled muscle is maybe a strained muscle where you went to grab something too fast, or
Yep.
you know, something too heavy and you jerked it up too fast, or you can overstretch your muscles because your muscles have a job to do. So they're
Yes.
you know, they work for you, but they also know that they shouldn't overstretch. So once they get to a point where they're starting to overstretch, they start to fight back and start to contract again, and so that they won't tear.
right.
And that's where you feel like you've got that overstretched muscle. You might have gone too far, you know, stretching, or you might have tripped and fell and, you know, stretched your muscle too fast, too quick. And that's where you'll feel pain, and there'll be some adhesions there. And massage really helps to get that back feeling better a lot quicker.
You know, something what about, I'm hearing people talk about now, is sore heels.
Okay, that's sore heels, plantar fasciitis. So they
Yes.
call it plantar fasciitis. Well, a lot of times people will prescribe maybe a little lift in the shoe or
Right.
or something. But basically, what plantar fasciitis is you'll feel the pain right at the right underneath your heel, and you'll feel it right at the basically underneath your foot there.
Right.
The real problem is your calf and the front of your
Uh-huh.
muscle all here. The reason why you're feeling the pain in your heel is that's the tendons. So these muscles are tight and they're pulling on those
And
tendons.
they're pulling on those.
There's
yeah,
pulling
and-
on them. And it's actually, your muscles are so tight that it's actually the little nerves that are attached to the bone, they're starting to pull off. And that's why you're feeling the pain. So
Oh.
they're literally pulling off the
Yep.
bone, those little nerves. And when you go too far, I've seen people where their Achilles tendon just snaps because it's so tight.
Oh my, that's
So-
extremely painful.
Yes, I had a client. I kept telling him that he was an athlete. I kept telling him your calves are so tight. You really got to start stretching them out. You need to stretch these. And he, you know, a lot of people like, you know, they don't want to do it, or they goes in one ear and out the other. And then he went to a some sort of fitness boot camp class. And his first jump up, he jumped up, landed on his feet, his Achilles tendon snapped right in half. And what it
Oh.
does is it rips off the bone right underneath the heel, and it rolls right up. And
Whoa.
that's a big surgery, and that takes a lot to recover. So a few stretches during the day, and you don't have to worry about those things. The same thing with carpal tunnel. So I work a
Yes.
lot of time
Another
with
common problem, especially in older people, and then we have a lot of aging baby boomers now.
Well, but not only just in the older people, it's the people, even the young kids
Yeah.
are getting
Oh,
it
now
now
with,
with,
yeah, with all the video games,
the video games and the things on TV that they,
the
use,
texting, and the
and the texting. So it is becoming with
computers.
everybody. And to help protect yourself against that, you just need to do the same thing here. We have all these muscles, and then these tendons that come finger down into your fingers. So, and what you do is there's a few good stretches that you can stretch out, and you start to stretch those every day, and that's going to help prevent. I have like a whole list of stretches
and
that you can
do
do.
it by watching TV. Just sitting there watching TV. What the heck?
That's what I tell people. If you're sitting down watching TV,
Yeah.
you know, you can just do this. Or while you're at work, stop for, you know, every hour and just kind of give yourself a little
2
stretch.
or 3 minutes.
And just not even 2 or 3 minutes. We're talking
just a minute.
seconds. Not even a minute. Just
30
seconds.
seconds.
Just seconds. You only need to do it a few seconds. As
Yeah.
long as you do it more periodically,
Yeah.
that's what's great. So the more frequently you do it with just the minimum, even if I just did it a couple times like that and I stopped and 15 minutes later I, you know, did it again. And that's what's going to save you from any type of surgery, carpal tunnel, the same thing with your calves.
Save you
You
from-
just stretch out your calves. And we have some great stretches for the calves, which is, you know, very simple, very easy. And the stretches have been around forever.
Now, arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
massage help with arthritis?
Well,
Arthritis is in a bone.
Yeah, arthritis is
By
it's
moving,
hard.
manipulating the muscles a little bit.
You can relieve pain. I know that there was a gentleman. He had bone on bone hips were bone on bone with a lot of arthritis
well,
in
there's
there.
nothing much you could do there,
Well,
right?
they wanted to do surgery. They said, I don't see how you're walking around like that because it's, it must be so painful.
Yep.
But he was always stretching every single day.
Oh.
And because his muscles were so limber that it didn't affect him.
He didn't feel the pain.
He didn't feel it. So when you do have arthritis, I mean, I can't get rid of arthritis, and I can't move it or anything like that.
Right.
But when your muscles are loose and limber and they're not pulling on the bone, you're not going to feel as much pain.
Uh-huh. So by getting a massage, you can limber up those muscles, and you're not going to. It takes a lot. It relieves some of the
aches
pain.
and pain.
It's the strain that the muscle is
Right.
putting out.
Exactly. So, massage is just a wonderful, healthy, happy thing to do for yourself, your body, your mind, your soul. A lot of people, I can't afford it, or I can't, I can't do that right now. I've got, got so many other things going on. You have to really stop and think, how much do you love yourself, and how much do you, if you're not healthy, how are you going to take care of your kids?
Right.
How are you going to take care of your husband or your wife, or just as you get older, even if you're by yourself? So the best thing, as I say, is love yourself and take care of yourself and give something good to yourself, like a massage, because that's your vehicle that you use every single day that you need.
It's not going to cost. It doesn't cost you as much as your cable bill
No, it doesn't.
or
No.
your phone bill, your cell phone bill, and you don't think any twice about paying those.
No, and I tell people too is, you know what, if you want to, say if it's not in your budget right now,
Right.
I say, but just look at some of the things that you do buy. Like, you could go into your pantry and there's bags of chips and all unhealthy things that you're putting in your body. Just cut those out for a little bit. And you can go through your pantry or your refrigerator and say, oh, geez, and half the things you're throwing out, well, you're basically throwing out a massage once a month. So sometimes cut back on the not so good things that are good for you.
You're eating that stuff to make you feel good.
That's
And
only a but the bad stuff, you mean, making
Right,
yourself
yeah,
feel good.
yeah,
Like
it
the
makes you feel good,
chocolate chip
but
cookies or something.
You can
or
make
the-
yourself feel good with a massage for the same amount of money.
Right. And you're doing something
and be
healthy
healthier
for
by
yourself.
it.
And once you start taking care of yourself and putting a little bit of extra, like when somebody comes to me, not only do I give them, we do the massage and we either treat the problem, you're either doing relaxation or we're treating a problem and curing the problem. But I also give you stretches to do so that you can go home and take care of yourself at home.
Right.
So that way you're not left with, just off on your own. I actually teach you how to do the stretches that are going to help you cure your problem and to help you from getting hurt again. And we were talking about the money, the things you can do to cut back on. I know whenever I go out to the store, my kids are always, can I get that? 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 And next thing you know, I see it on the ground somewhere, and I'm like, okay, we need to cut that out. So there's lots of ways that you can do that.
There's a lot of little things that if you looked at, that mount up over the course of a day. I mean, people don't think twice of spending an awful lot of money for a Dunkin' Donut coffee.
For getting a coffee, yeah. For getting a coffee and a muffin or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of the week, you could have actually had a massage.
Exactly.
Just cutting out 1 week. So it's little things like that. And you start to take care of yourself because you're starting to do something for yourself. Then you start eating better. You start drinking more water, which is healthy for you. Water's another thing. Your muscles need water. A lot of people I find don't drink enough water. Our bodies are made up of 98% water, and we need to take in about at least 8 glasses a day or more of water to replace that, so our muscles are hydrated. So our muscles are like a plant.
It
So
also helps your digestive system.
absolutely.
Yeah, and everything. I mean, people don't realize how much water does for you.
It's amazing. So if you had a plant and you didn't water it, it starts to slowly,
Yeah.
bend over,
Yeah.
and another week goes by and it's laying on the
I mean, it
ground,
brings
and
color to your face, your
it does.
skin. It hydrates your skin because people can actually look dried up.
They can. And the other thing too is a lot of people get stressed out. They'll get headaches, fatigued, and they're tired. And water's key to that. Water's key to putting the water into your muscles so that all
I
all the
think we're
cells
getting
can
more
do all
tuned
the
into
chores.
water, though. I see, people buying bottled water all the time now,
Mm-hmm.
and you see people walk around with water. So I think we're getting more in tune to it.
I think so too. I think that they are.
And you know what the secret is? Get it cold. For some reason, it tastes better.
Tastes better cold.
Yeah.
I think everybody has their little niche, of how they like it.
But for some reason, cold water. I mean, I
It's
have
refreshing.
at night. I'll have 2 or 3 glasses of ice water
Mm-hmm.
and watching TV.
And that's great. It's
Yeah.
great. I know a lot of people will say too is, oh, I don't want to drink too much water. I'll have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and I'll have to get up. And the reason why you end up going to the bathroom in the middle of the night a lot of times is because when you start to lay down, you put pressure on your bladder. And
Yep.
so then I thought to myself, well, lay down a little bit before you go to bed, on the couch. But
But also, if you ate a lot of junk food all day, your body's trying to cleanse your system, and that's why you have to go so much.
But it is good. But it is good to go to the bathroom because I tell people every time you're going to the bathroom, you're getting out waste and toxins, and that's
Yeah.
what you want to do. You
Well, that's
want to
the
flush out
purpose.
your system,
Yeah.
right? So
Your bodies are like a manufacturing plant, and when you manufacture, you have waste,
right.
and you got to get that out.
And a lot of times too, if you're eating saturated fats or just a lot of store-bought box products that really don't. If you looked at the ingredients, they're really not that good for you.
Yeah, right.
You really want to eat live food. Your body's live. You want to put in live food. You want to put in your fresh vegetables. You want to put in your fresh fruit. And you want to make sure you have, a nice salad every day. The salad, instead of like the piece of meat or chicken, really the salad should be your main meal with just a small piece of protein.
Really?
So that you want mostly greens and vegetables and all those colors. So our bodies are, we would never ever think of giving our dog, a bunch of, salt and vinegar potato chips and Doritos and Cheez-Its, or, not that they're not good. It's just that we love our animals. We'd never do that. And we wouldn't give our babies that. So, but we do it to ourselves because as you get older, you have your own mind and they something salty, something good. But once you start to get off the kick of the not so, that aren't good for you foods with the saturated fats, whether they're, chips, cookies, crackers, anything that really comes from a box, and you start eating, your fruits and vegetables, you feel so much, you have more energy, you have, more vitality, you're happier, you feel better, you don't have as many headaches, your skin looks better.
Yes.
There's so many things that are just eating healthy.
Yeah, you'll feel younger.
You feel younger, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you eat a lot of that junk food, and it makes you tired.
It does make you tired.
Sluggish, it makes you sluggish.
It makes you tired. And it's the same thing even with the coffee. You get that, people say, oh, I have to have that coffee in the morning. And it does give you that kick. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It gives you a kick. But what happens is then you get the slump. And now where are you?
It only lasts so long and it wears off.
Right. So if you're drinking a lot of water, or if you do have to have that cup of coffee, drink the water in between, so that you're getting all that hydration, you're hydrating your body, you're going to feel better. I've had people come to me that I don't like water. They'll say, I do not like water, I don't want to drink water. But their muscles are sore, they have headaches, all these symptoms that they have. I'm saying, All right, we'll
Yeah,
work on
yeah.
your muscles. Bring
Sore
more
muscles is one of the biggest predictions of not enough being dehydrated.
being dehydrated, because you think of that as like a peach, a nice juicy peach. You know, if you cut it open or bite into it, it's dripping with nice
Yeah.
moisture, water. Your muscles should be that juicy, full of water, like a sponge. And if they're not, now, and if they're all dried up because there's nothing there, a dried up sponge, how are all those cells going to work and go and
Well, yeah,
help fight cancer and fight anything, glaucoma, fight anything
All
you
our
have,
cells,
diabetes, anything.
all cells are made up primarily of water.
So, well, they need that water.
Yeah.
You know, they need that water to function because there's all little things in there that have their own jobs to do to
Right.
help bring you health and to work. If you also have to remember that coffee, soda, tea, alcohol, all those things are dehydrating.
Yeah,
So
they take the water out of you.
you take the water out of you. And coffee, caffeine also zaps your vitamin B. So if you are taking away the vitamin Bs and you're not replacing it with good nutrients in your vegetables, now you're behind the 8 ball. So you're, you know, and you wonder why you're tired and sluggish. But I've had people say that they didn't like water, and I said, really, just try and put it in your, put it in your diet.
Well,
try and drink
how
it.
about if you add a little flavoring to it? You know, they have the sugar-free powders that you can put in your water, or you buy a flavored water.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as crazy about the sugars or the.
Well, there's some that's sugar-free.
Yeah, but you could even add your own. You can take your own, like lemon, put it in
Yeah.
there, or you could squeeze something else in there,
Right.
something natural. But once the people start drinking the water, this one particular woman, the headaches are gone. They're feeling better, have more energy, not so tired anymore.
Well, water's like, when your first cup of coffee you ever had, doesn't taste good.
No, you hated it.
Right.
So,
Your first beer.
didn't like that either. Yeah.
No. So you're going to require a taste for it.
Or fancy cheeses.
Right.
It's like no one likes them, and then
Then all of a sudden, oh man, I can't have enough of it.
that's true.
Well, it's I'm sure it's the same way with water. I find myself, I like taste of water. Even though it is tasteless, there is something to it. I mean, you are tasting something.
And it's hydrating. So it's kind of a mindset, because if you really just don't like it, I mean, it's just something that you have to have. Then it's
Right.
like medicine. It becomes medicine because you really need it. If your bodies are made up of 98% water, you need to put that water back in.
Right.
And if you're going to exercise, which everybody should exercise, you're going to perspire. You're going to sweat. And you need to replace that. If you don't, your muscles will get fatigued. You'll get sore. And you'll get sick.
And it's also a cleansing action. I mean, you don't bathe in the same water every day. You have clean water.
Right.
Well, you're cleansing your body with clean water when
You're
you keep
cleansing it
drinking
out.
in-
You
yeah.
have to keep pushing everything
Yeah.
through. So water's a great thing you have to add into your day every
I
day.
think we have Troy's doing something bad. We have a phone call, Troy? No, we don't. He must have hung up. Oh. Okay, I guess they hung up. Look at... Oh, no, we do have a phone call. Go ahead, you're on.
Good evening.
Hi, Barry.
Hey, a lot of people have, one thing like sciatica, and I think
Uh-huh.
Paul had lower lumbar disc issues.
Yeah.
And can massage help that?
Absolutely. I have so many clients for sciatica.
Uh-huh.
And what it is in your glutes, in your buttocks, there's many layers of muscles, and there's one little muscle, the piriformis muscle, that's tiny, but it usually will either wrap around the sciatic or push up against the sciatic, causing havoc and pain. And so there's certain stretch therapy that I do, and it's a little deep tissue, but it really makes a huge difference. We loosen up those muscles. You're able to walk a lot better with less pain. I teach you some stretches that you can do on your own. And there's no reason why anybody has to live with any pain. Most pains are caused by a tight muscle.
Uh-huh.
That sciatica is one of the most painful things you can have.
Right, right.
Oh my God.
So yes, massage therapy helps wonderful.
Now, I know some people in my family have Lyme disease, and they have a lot of issues with their joints.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would that help for that too?
Lyme, joint problems. When they're with the joints, if the muscles are tight and they're pulling on the tendons that are attached to the bone,
Uh-huh.
you're going to get soreness from that. If the joints are already sensitive, you don't want any. If the joints are already sensitive, you don't want anything pulling on it. So the looser your muscles are, the more that the tendon, can move and stretch, that it's not pulling on the joints.
Uh-huh.
So then you get more circulation, more blood flow, and I've had people with Lyme disease, and they've gotten a lot of relief from it. So.
Now, years ago, a chiropractor told me, they said you should at least get a massage that's an hour. Is that correct, or is a half hour sufficient?
I would say that. As long as you get one, it's good. So
Right.
whether it's a half hour or an hour,
Uh-huh.
it depends on what you have to work on. If you only have, one specific area that we're going to work on, then maybe a half hour is fine. A lot of times, though, when you're dealing with the back and sciatic and the legs, sure, I could do that in a half hour, but, I can also spend more time and work it a little bit longer.
Mhm.
So if you can only come in for a half hour is fine. Sometimes you're only working on somebody's arm, and that's a half hour's fine for that, or even the sciatic, a half hour.
And
you're
the
just
other
working-
thing is there seems to be so many massage parlors out there now. Is it better to get one recommended by a chiropractor, or just look in the yellow pages? Because like I said, there's so many massage places opening up, and I'm just wondering, is it better to get one that's like a chiropractor recommends, or are they all the same?
No, they're not all the same. So there are absolutely so many massage places out there. I work at 800 Providence Road at the Chiropractic Health Center,
Uh-huh.
and I do a lot of therapy work there. And I think on that road alone, there's probably, I don't know, maybe there's like 8 or something. So when you go all the way into Uxbridge, and you'll find. I want to say when I've been doing massage therapy for almost 25 years now,
Uh-huh.
and I've been an esthetician for almost 30 years.
Uh-huh.
So when I first started out, there was absolutely no massage therapist around, and maybe 1 or 2 estheticians, skincare. In my area in Mendon, there was no one. So I was busy from 9 to 9 every day. And now you're talking, say in the last 20 years, there is one on every street corner everywhere. So it is hard, you're right. So do you go and you ask if you know somebody who said, oh, I've got a great massage somewhere, then, it's great to be recommended from somebody. If your chiropractor recommends somebody and they think that they're good, that's wonderful as well. So I happen to work for a chiropractor. We work together on certain people, and when he'll recommend them to come to me, because muscle does pull bone, so he can't adjust anybody properly a lot of times if their muscles are too tight.
Right.
So, and I do a lot of therapeutic work. I've taken special classes for these special stretch technique, muscle release techniques that I use on people. There's only 3 people in the United States that I know of that teach this. One's in California, one's in Colorado, the one that I took my class from, and there's one in Florida. And they're great stretch release techniques, and they really help to get right to the point of healing somebody, of curing the problem. So there are a lot of massage therapists who are just going to do the basic massage, but they might not know how to really treat the problem that you're going in for.
Right.
So-
So is there certain different levels of massage therapists, or, you know, like how, like some nurses, there's an LPN and an RN, and so, I mean, so if you know what is the best massage therapist to go to, are they all the same, or have they all gone to the same school?
They haven't gone to the same school. When I went to the Bancroft School of Massage Therapy, at the time there was only that school around and one in Boston. Now, again, since it's so popular, there's so many popping up everywhere. The problem with some of the times is when they're popping up everywhere, the schools, is they limit the amount of hours that you have to go to. So not everybody is trained equally. I also taught skincare, and the same thing. When I went to school, you had to do, there were many hours, and now they've cut down on these trade schools. They've cut down to a limited amount of hours. So I guess not. You can have, it's just like going to a restaurant. Is somebody a good, they went to cooking school, but is it, or is it great food, or is this chef better over here? So some massage therapists have taken more classes, like I've taken extensive classes. Not everybody has, but that doesn't put an extra letter behind my name. I'm a
Right.
LMT, licensed massage therapist, but I don't get an extra credit or a checkpoint for, knowing some extra things. So
it's almost like buyer beware. You have to call and check and ask the person, what kind of schooling they had and stuff like that.
You could do that, but you could go. Sometimes you have to go to the person and see. So if unfortunately, you could go to a doctor as well, and they could have graduated from Harvard, but did they graduate top of their class, or did they graduate at the bottom of their class?
Right.
So, it depends on their experience too, and massage is definitely it's personal, and it depends on what you're going for. Are you going for therapy, or are you going for just to relax? I guess everybody can do a relaxing massage, so you might not.
You have to be licensed to give massages?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's very informative, and I'll let somebody else call in. Thank you very much, Harry.
Okay, thank you, Barry.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's like any other business. I mean, you have doctors that are good, and you got doctors that aren't so good.
Right. And and you also have personality too. I
Yes.
mean, sometimes you can walk into somewhere and
Well, bedside manner,
bedside manner. Yeah.
it's very important. If you got a doctor with a lousy bedside manner, you don't like going to them.
Right.
And of course, you're going for massage, you're going to get relaxed.
To relax.
If you got someone who has an attitude,
Right.
you're not going to relax very well.
You're not going to be relaxed. No. And so that does count, and it counts on your frame of mind too. What you're going in for, what you're expecting.
Yes.
And I know the doctor will tell when somebody has some really tight muscles and he recommends them to come to me, he'll say, now it might hurt a little. I don't know if he said that to you or not. But only, you always work on somebody's pain level. You don't go,
Right.
You're from a pain scale 1 to 10, you're only working in a 7. You never go more than that. And you can be very verbal with.
No, I noticed
with
that
them.
when you worked on me. There was some times it got a little painful, and I mentioned it, and you ease off.
Yep.
But I have the feeling that sometimes you have to have the pain to get rid of the pain.
Sometimes you do, because those tight muscles, it's like a
Yes.
pizza dough. So I'm taking this small little, ball of dough,
Right.
and I need to get that muscle stretched out. So you're like, when I'm done with you and we're doing a therapeutic work, it's almost you feel like you went to an exercise class, but you didn't have to do anything. You just
Right.
laid there and relaxed and enjoyed it.
Yes.
But I'm taking your muscle and I'm stretching it out. I'm really kneading it. I'm getting more blood flow in, more
And then
oxygen.
the thing is, every
And-
time you go, it's going to get a little bit easier.
Yes, it does. It does. It absolutely does. I had one woman, she was again afraid of getting a massage, never had one. And I first, just barely touched her. Oh. And now I'm just leaning in there. Now she comes regularly once a month and she, it's amazing because now her muscles are more loosened up and she's more flexible and she's
Right.
walking more. And so, life becomes, you're easier, happier when you're feeling better. And that's the whole point of doing something nice for yourself and getting a massage.
Well, I say, if you got arthritis, we got a call. We have a call? You got the light on. Okay. It's like arthritis. If you stop moving,
Hmm.
you'll end up being stopped.
Yeah, you need to keep moving.
Yeah, and like I say, when you get a massage, keep it going because it's just going to stiffen up again.
Unfortunately, we do. We have to live. We have to work. Or
Right.
even if we're not working, if you're gardening, if you're
But
cleaning
it gets
up,
you
you're
loosened
knitting,
up.
you're
Now,
sewing.
the idea is once you get loosened up, keep loosened up. Start moving around. Start doing things. Start exercising. Start
And stretching. And
stretching.
right.
Yeah.
And stretching is a big part of everything, and I do teach people stretches so that when you leave, like I said, you come out and you can start doing those things at home to stop that pain.
Right.
It's from coming back again.
It's amazing. We don't have to live with pain,
No.
and we don't have to go to the medicine cabinet and grab the bottle
Painkillers.
of painkillers that we have. And some of this stuff it's going to do you more harm than good.
It will. And you're right, you don't have to live with pain. It's a lot of times your pain is the tight muscles.
Yep.
And feed your body with good food, lots of water, and stretch out those muscles, get a massage, loosen them up. The massage is really, a tight muscle can feel like a rock sometimes.
Yes.
And so, you're really trying to knead that out and stretch it out. And once that muscle, what's happening when your muscle is tight, your muscle should be like flat and lean. But what happens is when you have a tight muscle, it's contracted, almost like in a ball. And that muscle takes a lot of energy. Like if you do this, if you fold your fist like this and hold it tight.
I can't.
You can't do it? Okay.
There's my arthritis in my hand.
You have arthritis in your hand. So
this one I can.
if you hold it tight, that's a lot of energy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's a lot of energy just doing
that. You
that.
can feel the energy.
Just trying to hold it tight.
Right.
So when you're doing that for hours and hours, your muscles start to get fatigued and they just start to get sore and ache and that's where the massage comes in, loosens it up, and the stretching helps to stretch it out because you don't want those tight fatigued muscles. There's no reason why anyone has to have tight muscles.
Well, I find that even like I got arthritis in my right hand, and I'm right-handed, of course.
And stretching would be good for that.
I
to
do
keep
that.
stretching that out.
And if I don't do that enough,
Yeah.
it gets stiff.
Yeah.
If I sit for a long time, I can't walk. I get stiffened up.
Through your hips or
Nope, my knees.
through your knees? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had any?
Oh yeah. Well, I've been told that at one point that they couldn't understand how I was walking.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Dr. C looked at my X-rays. He says, "I don't know how you even get up."
So you need to really work on everything that's attached to those, your hamstrings,
Yep.
your quads, and your calves, and really stretch those
But
up
I get
so there's
adjusted on a
nothing
regular
pulling
basis.
on there.
I'm going to you, and I find it's much better. And I keep moving too,
Mm-hmm.
and I do exercise. I do kick my legs around and things like that. You got to keep things going.
You got to keep moving, but more important for you is stretching.
Yes.
So you need to stretch because the more stretched out your muscles are, those tendons and ligaments, everything isn't pulling
Right.
on the bone there.
Yeah, because like I say, when I'm sitting for a long time, you're sitting like this, which
Mhm.
means
And they get stiff.
they get stiff. I can get going after a couple of minutes, but it takes.
It takes a little bit.
Yeah.
And
But we should never attribute all this stuff to old age.
no. Oh, no, you can have pain when you're
But I
you know,
mean-
the kids in football or
But
anywhere.
people say, "Oh, well, I got to live with this. I'm getting old."
Oh, no, 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 no.
There's no need for that.
No. No.
You should be spry and ginger and get around like you always did.
Exactly. You got to keep the childlike, you
Yeah.
know, in you. So you play and you know, have fun and
Right.
and that's a lot to let you want to never feel it. I never say that bad word. Getting old, it's a bad word. So, but it is. It's moving, getting around, and now that the nice weather's here, you start walking.
Right.
You start getting out and getting some fresh air. And it's hard if if you haven't done that all winter long and you've been on the couch or the chair watching TV. Do baby steps. Start. Maybe it's only a 5-minute walk. And then it gets, you know, do that for, just get up and get out, even if it's just walking around the house, and then take a 10-minute walk and get to a 15-minute walk and then 20. And next thing you know, you're doing a nice little walk, you're getting
Yep.
exercise, and once you start feeling good and you start to look at that other food that you're putting in your body, you're like, gosh, I don't want that. You want to put healthy things in your body. You want to start taking care of yourself. So it's a nice circle.
Well, we're fortunate, especially in this day and age, that you can go to a supermarket and get almost any kind of vegetable, fresh vegetable. I mean, I seen corn on the cob
Yeah, yes.
in the markets today.
I saw corn recently as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go any fruit.
Mm-hmm.
It was at one time you could only get these things when they were in season. Well, now because we bring stuff from all over the world,
Right.
so fresh stuff is always available in vegetables and fruits.
It is. And I mean, you have this huge grocery store you've got to walk through. If you took out all the things that weren't good for you and there'd only be a couple aisles left just with the good things that are really good for you.
Well, when you 99% of the in fact, all the supermarkets you walk into, the first department you go to is the produce,
Produce. Yes.
which is good.
It is good. I like going in.
Before you
seeing
spend all
that.
your money, you can get a chance to fill it up with something good for you.
Right. And there's a lot of there's a lot of things that you can make with vegetables that you don't. I
Yes.
just made this wonderful my daughter is a vegetarian, so it was.
You're finding that more in the younger people.
Yes, yeah, and so I was making dinner and I had to think of something different. I made a ratatouille. I haven't had that since I was a teenager. And it's just a lot of vegetables, and oh my gosh, it was so delicious. It was a meal. You could eat it as a meal. It was just absolutely fabulous.
I like, for vegetable, we have vegetable every night.
Mm-hmm.
And I slice up a tomato and a cucumber,
Mm-hmm.
raw.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get away from the cooked vegetables because I think you take a lot of the stuff out of it.
You do. And it is nice to have the fresh vegetables. I'll cut up cucumbers for my kids and I'll put them on their plate. And they like the cucumbers.
And you're
which are good.
getting water too because there's a lot of
They're
water
full
in
of water.
cucumbers. Yeah.
And those are healthy things.
And tomatoes are loaded with antioxidants.
They're wonderful, yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's hard in the winter to get the fresh one,
Yep.
But when summer comes around and the fresh tomatoes are out, they're wonderful.
You know, when the tomatoes are native to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and to North America.
Mhm.
When the Pilgrims first got here, they wouldn't touch them. They thought they were poison.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Very
Yeah.
interesting factor. And
Yeah.
and when did they come around to...
Well, after time, the Indians ate them, so they probably realized that the Native Americans ate them. There's nothing wrong with these things. And, a lot of things that are fresh vegetable. Corn is native to North America.
Mm-hmm.
The potato came from the Andes.
Oh, did it really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, potatoes. Europeans never knew what potatoes were. The Spanish first found the potatoes because the Incas grew potatoes and ate them.
Mm-hmm.
And they found that, this thing grows in a lot of good places, especially the Irish found. And what happened, too, I'll give you a little history, when there were a lot of wars going on between countries, they would come in and burn all the crops.
Mm-hmm.
So the wheat crop get wiped out. They could burn the potato fields, but it didn't hurt the potatoes because they were underground.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So a lot of societies subsisted on potatoes because they could survive these
Mhm.
invasions.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good. Very interesting.
But it wasn't until after Columbus came here and we started, I don't want to say discovered America, there was others here before him, but before we started colonizing, then they brought this stuff back, the tomatoes, cucumbers, chili
Mhm.
peppers, corn.
Corn.
All these things were in North America, but in South America, but not in Europe.
How about that? See?
See? And it's a lot of good stuff, too.
A lot of good stuff. You can put anything in a salad. You can just eat them
Yep.
plain, like the plain tomatoes, like you were saying, and they're wonderful for you.
Well, sure, I'm a meat eater. I'm a carnivorous guy. I got to have my
The
my
meat.
meats. But I find I'm eating a lot more of less saturated fat meat. I like chicken.
Hmm.
I never did before. I love fish.
I love fish too.
But
Yeah.
there again, we have to be careful with fish,
With the mercury.
with the mercury,
Mm,
yes.
I know, it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Something's so good and you have to worry about,
I know.
the bigger fish with the mercury, and then it still lingers down to the smaller
And
one.
did you know that, another thing in history, go back to the Romans
Hmm.
and the Greeks, they loved mercury
Oh, they did?
because it's
Boy.
got a sweet taste.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They didn't know.
They didn't know, so they were... I don't know how you tell which fish has more mercury or not, but, which...
Right.
But, or they probably didn't have as much mercury back then.
No. And also, everything was in lead. They drank and ate off of lead.
That's right. But
Yeah.
I think they died. They must have died a little earlier.
Well, they did.
Yeah,
They did. The lifespan was not as what it is today.
Right.
And that is one thing that it's good health and knowledge of our health
Mhm.
I mean, we got a lot of centurions now. People getting into their hundreds.
That's
It's
great.
becoming more common.
It's wonderful.
And
I
look at
mean,
now. You talk about the boomers. 65 is now 45.
Yeah, and a long time ago. What was it? The retirement age, I think, was 50 something. The early 50s, or like 52, 53 something.
Well,
a little.
Well,
long
Social
time
Security was set up at 65 because at the time in the 1930s, most people didn't live much past 65. They did make it to 65.
Mhm.
So that was the retirement age that the government set because they knew most people wouldn't get to Social Security.
Oh.
See? And now they're saying, well, it's a problem because we got all these people that are turning 65 and, well, he moved up to 66. They want to move it even higher.
Higher. That's what I heard. They wanted to move it higher.
Yeah, because people are living longer.
Mm.
But I remember, when my grandfather was 65, I thought he looked 65. I don't feel I look 65.
No. So I think you're right. When you look back,
Yeah.
everybody seemed like they looked a lot older.
You're right.
Or is that just because we're getting older and then we just...
Well, that's part of it. But then again, I think that we have a different attitude about it.
Mhm.
We don't retire. We might retire from our career job, but we'll take on other jobs. We keep working. I'm still working. I mean, everybody you do it because you want to.
Well, you do want to, and that's part of staying healthy, staying
Right.
sane. And if you had nothing to do, you'd be bored. That's when you always hear people end up dying when they.
Yeah,
when
they get
get
nothing
so
left
bored.
to do. They get
Yeah.
bored.
So you do want to keep active, even if it's some sort of hobby, some interest, something. So people are working a lot longer,
Yeah.
and
And I think this helps to prevent too. We're gonna get going here. We can't keep calling. The hour's gone.
oh dear, okay.
Isn't that something? Well, hey, I'd like to have you come back again sometime.
We do. We'll have to talk about hypnotherapy
If you-
sometime.
If you do want to talk with Corinne, you can stop in and see her down on
800
800.
Providence Road.
800 Providence Road at the
Chiropractic
Chiropractic Center.
Yep.
And I'm sure you'll be glad to talk with anyone. and-
Absolutely. If you have any questions, you can always give a call
Yeah.
and help you out any way I can.
And I'm going to tell you, from my own point of view, a massage is well worth it. It's well worth it. Give yourself a gift. We don't think twice about buying our kids or our grandkids gifts. Give yourself a gift once in a while. Get a massage. You will not be sorry you did. Believe me.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, and have a great night. Wonderful.
Yes. I have to give him a couple.